They were just a little concerned, that's all. But
I want to say something.
yeah,
First of all, what rank are you?
I'm a captain.
You're a captain.
Mm-hmm.
Was you in the Marines?
No, sir.
What does the feathers mean? The wings and
feathers?
stuff in
I'm on
behind
the
that
SWAT
ACON?
team.
You're on the SWAT team?
Yeah, that's our SWAT team.
Are you familiar with Langley, Virginia?
Very much so.
Are you familiar with Black Ops?
Well, I wasn't a part of it or nothing like that, but I know what you're referring to, yes, sir.
Are you aware of certain things that has been hidden or disclosed from the American people that I'm aware of, and that's the reason why that they want to take me out of open population?
No, sir, I'm not aware of that.
Yes, sir. Pertaining to the Waco incident as well as the Oklahoma incident.
Okay.
There is some.
When you say somebody's wanting to take you out, you're talking about someone in government or something?
Yes, sir. They will. They
obviously much higher in government than I am.
Yes, sir. They would be willing to jump through hula hoops to either get me in an 8x8 cell the rest of my life, or put me in a mental institution going through a treatment program in Springfield, Missouri for the next 3 to 5 years. And if I wasn't crazy whenever I went in,
you'd be when you got out.
I would be whenever I got out, towards slobbering all over my shoes and not knowing daylight from dark. Mm-hmm. I've got some people that want to destroy my life because I am what you would call a
know too much?
Yeah. Know too much about them. And plus I've got people that work in Langley, Virginia that I'm kin to. Right. So that doesn't help matters none.
Yeah.
So,
of course, Langley's where an SA is. Right.
So I do appreciate you coming by here out of concern. I don't know who called. Who called you? One of them. They did?
Yeah.
Why did they call?
The concern they expressed was, let me see who's coming now, that you'd been up to their church a couple months ago, apparently. As it was told me initially, I thought it happened just like this past Sunday. Anyway, in speaking with someone, you'd made somebody feel uneasy or something or another, and then I think it got passed down between maybe a couple other people.
Kind of like the fish story?
Yeah. And then the gentleman in the orange, the guy in the black shirts, he had said that he stopped and talked to you to start with, and that you had denied being somewhere at somebody's house. So then the other gentleman is the guy's house who you've been to.
Well, how did I know that? I didn't know that.
I know you don't know who people are.
Because I'm out here looking for real estate. I'm out here looking for areas that I want to. Because basically, I'm a citizen of Humphreys County, even though it's a lake house. Over there in Pebble, I'm still living here in Humphreys County.
And anyway, so I come by to see what's going on. I talked to him. He was telling me about this after he called us. And the only reason I hung around is to make sure everything's going to be peaceful. Like I said, y'all having an adult conversation, but they had made a comment to me about, they might do harm to you if they felt like you were going to do harm to them. So when they said that, I said, look, guys, I'll speak to Mr. Jackson. Y'all can go ahead and leave and say your goodbyes, and I'll talk to him afterwards. And really, only my intent to talk to you is just tell you, that's what was going on. Like I said, you're not violating any law.
The Bible that I read tells me to be harmless as doves, and his vengeance is mine, saith the Lord.
That's the one I'm reading too.
Whenever it comes to legal actions, I let y'all handle that part of it.
And you get to dealing with human emotions sometimes, and then people run on emotions and not clear thought.
Well, I wasn't scared of them. I wouldn't have cared if there was 2 or 22. It wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah, I don't think they were going to do anything.
I stand on my grounds.
Kind of what they because they were upset. I didn't want to leave until they were gone.
Sure, that's understandable. Well, I appreciate you doing that.
Because my job is to protect the public, and that means all sides of the public. Your side, their side, everybody's side.
Sure, absolutely.
But anyway.
But I've got some serious issues that I'm dealing with right now, and I'm aware of it. I'm fully aware of it. And I'm also aware of what certain people would be willing to do to protect their careers. Whenever you're making, let's say you're a state representative and you're making in between $150,000 and $225,000 a year, sitting up there in the Capitol, doing what you're doing, which is ordinarily nothing other than going to big banquets and parties and stuff like that, plus the bonuses that you get on the side towards different kickbacks that you get by knowing people. Whenever people feel that their jobs are in jeopardy, they start getting sweaty palms. Even a job like yours, that you make about 70 grand a year.
Well, I'm nowhere even close to that.
You're supposed to.
I'm supposed to and really doing they're two different things.
You're supposed to be adequately paid next to the sheriff.
No, I'm not.
You should be.
It'd be nice, but rural counties, they don't have the tax base, to support functions,
Sure.
Like a larger area does.
Sure.
So,
you're limited in the resources, or they're limited in their
maybe
resources.
Maybe we could do better, maybe we couldn't, I don't know.
You could move to Dixon and Dixon County and probably make almost a third more.
They don't really make much more than what we do.
Really?
It's almost like, okay, I almost sound like a conspiracy guy now. It's almost like they all know it, so they keep it the same because that keeps us from hopping over there or them from hopping over here. Because you might go and get 20 cents more an hour.
Right.
But is it worth it?
But look at what you got to deal with. Look at the riffraff that you much more riffraff that you got to put up with. Well, how many citizens is there in Dixon County? Probably
in Dixon County,
a million and a half.
No, in Dixon County.
Not Dixon County, but Davidson County.
Oh, Davidson County. Their daytime population is around 1 million, and their nighttime population is about 700,000. A little over 1 million in the day, 700,000 at night.
Is it that many people that fluctuate going in and out of there?
Oh yeah, have you ever tried to drive from Murfreesboro to Nashville?
Oh yeah, it's
bad.
My
goodness, Lord of mercy.
Who's the guy right up underneath the sheriff? His name is
Rob Edwards.
Rob. I've talked to him.
Yeah.
Has he told you I've talked to him?
He did. He sent a message out, son. He spoke with you.
He seemed to be all right.
Yeah, he's a good fellow.
Is he not here today?
He is. He's actually in a meeting with a guy on some software. We're trying. Our computer system's having some problems, and we're trying to get it resolved. And the software guy's down there, and he's working with him, trying to get things figured out and working right.
You don't have a problem with my truck sitting there while I do a little tourism towards figuring out the town, do you? A while ago, I was in there and I drank me a cola.
You're not doing anything illegal, Mr. Jackson.
Thank you.
You're legally parked, legally here.
Thank
not
you.
Doing anything.
I had no earthly idea who
You've not made any comments in my presence. That
I promise you.
Makes me think you're.
I had no earthly
anything.
idea who those gentlemen was.
They're just,
And,
I don't know.
And to me, a lot of times, whenever you see a motorcycle gang and you start seeing colors, it's kind of like a pit bull.
Yeah.
They've already got a bad reputation, and it could be one of the nicest, sweetest dogs in the world. But me and you don't know that.
Yeah.
We don't know that. But yet now, whenever we see that pit bull, we're automatically gonna fear that pit bull because they've already got a bad rap for themselves. Same way with a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Motorcycle gang.
I've never met the guy in the orange shirt before today. Now the other gentleman, I interact with him on a somewhat regular basis because he owns a towing company also. He's a volunteer fireman.
Sure.
So I'll see him at sometimes with his association with the fire department, and then because he owns a tow company, obviously lots of times we have vehicles towed and stuff.
Sure.
And we're on like an alternating schedule.
Oh yeah, I know.
So I'll run across him every once in a while like that. But as far as I know, he's a pretty good fella. He's never been in any trouble or anything like that. And the other guy, I've never seen him before. So
let me put your mind at ease this much. I was in there drinking over there like 3 stores over.
Yeah, at the cafe.
At the cafe. I was already here. They seen my truck. They targeted.
That's what they told me.
They targeted me.
They did.
I didn't target them. They targeted me.
He told me he drove by and spotted you and said he was going to stop and talk to you and try to fill you out. That's what he was trying to do.
Right,
Basically.
and he did.
He's trying to determine if not you were something that they might have to be worried about around the church or something. No,
right.
That's all.
And which, if that's what their true motive is, hallelujah to them.
Well,
we need more citizens like them.
Yeah, and it's kind of like this, what you referenced to a while ago about, with Virginia and all.
Oklahoma.
I don't know if it's true or not.
I know it is.
Here's the thing. Do I think that
I can prove
the United States government is capable of doing some sneaky stuff? Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely, all of them are.
I'm at a very low level of government.
Absolutely.
And I've seen things happen that I think, man, that was kind of shady.
Yeah.
Well,
whenever Donald Trump gets to talking about fake news, I don't know how well that you've been keeping an eye on things, but depending upon who you are and what status that you control in the community, regardless whether you be a preacher over here at the First Baptist Church or you own the dealership down the road. Certain people in the county can do things that will be covered up and won't, but just very few people know about it. And then there's other people in the county, if they so much as jaywalk, oh, we're going to put their name in the paper and we're going to ruin their reputation and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. In other words, it's not so much fake news as it is manipulated news. Where I'm at up there in Waverly County, they got a college up there, right? Well, whenever I was a teenager growing up, my God, I was sitting in bars at the age of 14. Drinking beer. Of course, keep in mind, at that time, you could drink beer legally at the age of 18. They didn't move that up until I think it was the mid-'80s, whenever they moved that legal drinking age in the state of Tennessee. But I couldn't tell you the amount of times that I have been around the college and college kids, college professors. You know, whenever you're raised up in a college town, you're going to get to know these things. Well, they would purposely target the ignorant. It's kind of like standing in front of a judge and you look at the judge and say, Your Honor, I didn't know. And he looks back at you and says, ignorance of the law is no excuse. Believe it or not, certain people play off of that. They want you to be ignorant of the law. They want you not to be aware that this is a one-way street. That way you'll go down the opposite direction, and that way they can ticket you.
A lot easier to take advantage of you if you're ignorant.
Well, it's got to do with your morals and your morale.
And
you know how you're orchestrating the law. And there are certain people that orchestrate it with the right intentions, and there's other people that has the wrong intentions. And I've seen it again and again and again towards them picking on young students that's wanting to get a degree. They'll give them a ticket for having a half a bag of marijuana, but yet all the judge can get caught drinking and driving, and that'll never get in the papers. Or some predominant citizen that just got through raping his granddaughter. Sexually immorality behavior. That won't never hit the papers. But somebody like me that they don't like, oh, we're going to destroy this individual. So it is manipulated news. That's what I'm getting at. It is manipulated news.
Well, I'm not a big fan of the media,
and in a way, it is fake news.
I don't necessarily believe everything comes out of the media because I know all too well that they don't always have the story. And a lot of times, they'll ask us something and we can't talk about it, open case.
Sure.
So then when we don't give them the answer, they just kind of fill in the blanks.
Sure they do.
Whether it's accurate or not.
Well, they're looking for those ratings.
Yeah, exactly.
They're wanting the ratings to come in so people will read their papers.
And the problem is they don't answer nobody. Yeah, I mean,
Did you know that within 4 hours of the Oklahoma incident in 1995, they was already producing a character of it being a foreign substance as far as terrorism? That was already going out with their local networks.
Oh, that it was outside the U.S.?
Yes.
Behind it?
Yes. And it wasn't until the cop got lucky and pulled over Timothy McVeigh that had a screwed up plate tag. Mm-hmm. That's whenever they changed their whole persona. Oh, this isn't an international deal pertaining to the Arab community. This is an inside job, isn't it? See?
Yeah.
Once more, we're talking about that fake news. We're talking about that manipulated news that they'll run off of, not knowing for sure if it's the truth or not, but they're still putting it out there. They're planting that seed. And I'm not saying that we don't have terrorists, because we do have terrorists that will kill us if they was to see us out here on the street somewhere and they thought that they could behead us because we wouldn't convert over to their ideology, that they would do it. We do have actual adversaries that are out to get us.
Sure.
If you don't believe me, just look at 9/11.
I'm pretty sure of that, yeah.
Look at 9/11. That was over belief. That was in the aspect of a holy war. Mm-hmm. And of course, look where they hit us. They hit us right in the Belfo. Mm-hmm. They hit us in the Twin Towers. Mm-hmm. Did you know that the second industry that was preparing for that same type of attack was in North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina? There's more banking industries up there that wheel and deal with money and exchange.
Stuff?
Yes, international stuff. Yeah, they was expecting a hit in that area.
I know that at one time, back when all that was happening in Nashville, Caterpillar has a bank on West End Avenue, and it does international stuff like that.
So it probably.
There was some concern about it. Yeah, I remember that being, talked about.
But let me ask you a question before you leave, and be honest with me. I don't want no political answer.
Okay, I'm not very political anyway.
I want a truthful answer. This guy right over here that wound up freaking out on me, that wound up putting a bolo out on me, simply because he either didn't understand me or wasn't willing to accept the things that I was teaching or telling him at the time. Do you think it's fair and right for him to be selling tactical gear to the general public? People that are weak-minded, people that are narrow-minded, people that are already thinking that the sky's fixing to fall. Do you think it's fair and right for that guy to be doing what he's doing over on his corner?
Talking about that 223 Preparedness Shop?
Yes, sir.
Well,
and then the next question is, do you believe that it was fair and right for ATF to be selling the Davidians down in Texas, the Fast and Furious guns, the AK-47s, that basically gave the right to a judge to give out a warrant to go and assault the Davidians the way that it did? Do you think it's right for law enforcement to purposely plant entrapments before their citizens, regardless whether it be something on a small scale like this guy's doing? He's got a jailbreak problem. Yeah. Regardless whether it be something small like this guy's doing or something big like ATF done down there at Davidians.
First, absolutely, it's not right to plant anything on anyone. Either it should be fair and square all the way around. And on the first question, he's got a legal right to sell that stuff. So as a law enforcement officer, the oath I swore was to protect the state constitution, the United States Constitution, and protects everyone's rights. So really, whether I agree with the thing selling tactical gear to the general public or not, I have to believe in his right to do it. So he's got the right to do that. He can sell it. I don't know. Sometimes does it take advantage of people's fears? It could, because they'll get all.
He's preying off of the weak.
They'll buy stuff like that.
He's preying off of the weak. He's preying off of the demented. He's preying off of the narrow-minded. He's preying off of people that's already got probably some sort of paranoid schizophrenic problem to begin with, by thinking that the sky's fixing to fall. And who's to say that he is paranoid schizophrenic
it's just like
himself?
When the weather forecast comes out, it's going to be a big snow. Everyone runs to the store and buys everything.
That's what I'm saying.
It don't snow. You wonder, well, how'd you get that so wrong?
Who got the benefit out of that?
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I don't really have.
I think this government has went too far.
Yeah, I don't really have.
I really do. I think it's went too far whenever it comes to its techniques that it uses against its own citizens. And of course, some states it's illegal to use entrapment techniques.
It should be in every state. I mean, there's a constitutional violation.
Down there in Florida, they're notorious towards putting a little 15, 16-year-old girl out here on the corner, about half clothed, looking like a damsel in distress, and the next thing you know, some freako or some sicko stops over there wanting to do something more than just average acquaintance. And the next thing you know, they bust the guy. They put his name all in the papers. He loses his home. He loses his marriage. He loses his job. He loses everything about his life by planting that type of entrapment in front of him. Like I said, Florida's notorious for it.
I'll leave you with this, Mr. Jackson. I don't know a lot about things that go on at higher levels and stuff, but I can tell you this, that kind of always makes me question things. I had a really good friend of mine who was a DEA agent, and so years ago, back during the 3 or 4 presidents ago, different administration, DEA is working an operation overseas, and it's a large-scale cocaine operation. I mean, these guys are shipping in tons of cocaine into the United States, and they find out who's involved and stuff, and their investigation goes really high, and up into the White House high.
Oh yeah.
And what happens is they were so close to making the case that all of a sudden the president signs an executive order that takes away from DEA their ability to investigate cocaine hydrochloride investigations, which is cocaine hydrochloride is powder cocaine.
Sure.
And this order goes into effect, and so they had to shut down their investigation. Their authority to investigate that was removed. And it takes about 40-something days, and before it goes through, and they're like, "Oh, that was a mistake. Here, we'll rescind that. Your power is back."
Right, right.
Well, by that period of time, the investigation is shot. Everything's changed. All the evidence is lost. Everything.
Trail gets cold.
Everything's gone. No indictments have come. No one can get arrested for it. Everything has changed over completely.
Right.
All their wiretaps had to come down.
Sure.
They had up listening to everything. So, and that come from a very close friend of mine. It's a DEA agent. And, you got people that you trust.
Sure.
He's one of those guys I trust.
Sure.
He told me that. Because the conversation we were having, we were at a seminar together, and it was like, man, he said, buddy, all you can do is do your part. And he said, but sometimes it gets to a point where you can't do anything. He
Nothing's
said, "They'll jerk the
foolproof.
rug right out from underneath you."
Nothing's foolproof. I mean, there's cracks in the system, regardless whether you be on one side of the perspective or the other.
So I know exactly
but these
what you're-
vigilante techniques.
Vigilante techniques that's not something that should be being happening. But, what I was saying is,
Especially preying on the weak.
Yeah, I understand
preying
where
on the
you're coming from.
demented.
But here's, what I was going to kind of go from that to this is, I understand that because I've been in government service for 30 years, at a local level, but in government service. And I obviously have a lot of interaction with federal agencies
Sure.
and state agencies
Sure.
too over the years. And, I've seen things. I've seen people that were guilty, that got arrested and the charges got dismissed.
Right.
I've seen people that got arrested and you were ordered to unarrest them. I've written tickets and tickets disappeared.
It's kind of like at fake news, isn't it? It's manipulated.
I've seen those things,
Sure.
go on.
Sure.
So, I'm not stupid to think that they don't go on at a higher level. It's going
Sure.
to go on, obviously.
Sure, sure.
But,
If it goes on down here on the
Yeah.
local level, it's bound to go on in the
Sure.
state level, and it's bound to go on in the
yeah,
federal level.
absolutely. The only thing where I was going with that is, though, however, and I wouldn't say uneducated, but people that haven't never experienced anything like that or don't have any firsthand knowledge, when you or I try to talk to them about something like that,
They can't
we
relate.
get
They can't relate.
yeah. So it's just like, I've told the guys before, I've told people before about that cocaine story, and they're like, "Oh, that didn't happen." I'm like, "Really, it did. You can actually go back and you can look up the executive order where it was signed by the president, and then about 2 months later it was rescinded. And they could call it was a mistake and all that stuff, but
Sure.
they had an investigation going and it took it away.
Sure.
But so when you talk if we tell some people that, they give us the look of like, I don't know.
Will you do me one favor?
Sure, if I can.
Whenever you get to where you can, look up Ted Gunderson.
Ted Gunderson? How you spell it?
Ted Gunderson. Look him up. He was an FBI agent that spilled the beans on him. He wound up mysteriously dying. Kind of like the guy that produced the Pale Rider Cometh. He was found slooped over his steering wheel down in Florida that gave all the indication. That's him.
Okay.
That gave all the indication that he had committed suicide, but yet now there wasn't no gun residue on either
He
hand.
worked in Monroe and the Kennedy cases.
Yes, sir. You want to find out some dirty stuff on the government? You look him up.
All
You
right.
read some of his stuff. Sir, you have a good day.
Yeah, I'll
I'm
do it.
glad you come by and hollered at me.
Yeah. Good to see you, sir.
Take care.
Hey, if you need anything, call us, okay? Because
I'll
that's
do
a
it.
two-way street about it.
I know that. I know
Anybody
that.
ever makes you feel uncomfortable, you call us.
I know
and
that.
take care of that.
I know that.
Have a good day, sir.
You too. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.